Hi, my name is James Shepard, and this morning I want to give you a quick, probably be less than about 10 minutes. I just want to give you 3 quick tips on how you can handle installations and tech support a lot better for your customers. Now, normally on our little sales tip here, I do an actual sales tip, how to sell, and so this does relate to sales because when you get out in there in the field, if you understand the process that I'm about to describe to you, then you can pitch service to your clients and you can explain some of these advantages to them, and it's really a major part of your competitive advantage. When you're out there in the field selling, you want to make sure that you are letting people know that you provide great local service. Really, to be honest, if you're delegating all of the tech support to the processor, and you're not following, these 3 steps I'm about to give you, then you're really not providing local service. You're selling people, but you're not really providing local service, okay? So let's go through these real quickly. Number 1, you want to make sure that you have at least 1 and preferably 2 spare terminals. And let me describe this. I've mentioned it before, but I want to give some more specific details on this. I would recommend that you purchase the Verifone VX510 terminal. It does not need to be dual com. It doesn't need to be any of the expensive ones. Just get the basic Verifone VX510. You can actually download, take that terminal, okay, call up your processor and go ahead and do a download for that terminal for one of your existing clients. It does not matter which client. Just do a download for one of your existing clients so that that terminal is ready to go for that one client. Okay? Then what you can do is, this is probably, when I learned this, it's literally saved me hours of my time every week. This one little tip I'm about to give you. Okay? What you can do is, once you have it downloaded for one of your merchants, you can go into the parameters, and your processor can walk you through this. I'm going to give you a basic tip here in a second, but you can go in there and in about 3 to 5 minutes, you can change the parameters of that terminal without doing a download, without hooking it up to a phone line, anything like that. Just change the parameters, the merchant ID number, and change the header information on the receipt. And then that terminal will be ready to go for any of your merchants as long as they're using the same processor that you had initially set that terminal up for. You can use that in a couple different ways. Number 1, if somebody has a problem with their terminal and they call you, rather than you sitting there on hold with tech support or trying to do a download for 30 minutes and wasting, an hour of your day, you just simply walk in. You say, yeah, I see there's some issues with the terminals, do a quick check. Once you realize that you're going to need to call tech support, what you do is you just swap the terminal out. Take out this other terminal you have, program it for them, and say, okay, I'm going to put this one here. Let me show you how to use it. I'll come back tomorrow with this terminal and have it fixed for you. Well, now you just put that terminal in your car, and at your convenience, when you're back at your office, you can call tech support while you're working on something else. Maybe you're doing paperwork for a sale you made that day, and you have the terminal sitting over to the side, doing the download, updating, fixing the problem, whatever it might be. Okay? Also, number 2, you may get somebody who wants the service, today, or tomorrow, they need it right now. They're opening their store, whatever it might be, but they need a credit card machine installed right now. Okay, well, if you have that terminal, you can get their information, submit the application, have them approved within usually 10 business hours or 20 business hours are going to be approved. So like the next day you can come back and you've already got a terminal that you can install there. And then of course you would maybe order them a free terminal or whatever. And whenever that comes, you can get your spare terminal back, but it's one that you can place out there. And that's why I like to have 2 terminals. So I can do something like that and still have another terminal, kind of in the back. So that's really, really valuable. So that's tip number 1. Have a couple spare terminals and have them programmed for the processor that you use, the platform that you use. You use a Verifone VX510. It's very, very easy. And again, you just need a dial connection. It's just a spare terminal, but it's something that's going to allow you to provide a lot of extra service and support. I've made a lot of my customers very, very happy over the years by simply walking in, with that terminal and presenting it to them, when they're having an issue or a problem. Whereas with the old company, they'd been on the phone with tech support or whatever. I just walk in, here's a terminal, boom, you're ready to go. I walk out with their old terminal and get it fixed at my office. Okay? Number 2, understand the basic, 2 basic kind of prompts or areas in your terminal. Now again, I'm talking specifically here about the Verifone VX510, but this is also true for most Omni terminals, most other Verifone terminals, especially the VX series, VX570s, etc. There's two different prompts that you need to, what I would encourage you to do is next time you get one of these terminals as a free placement or whatever, before you install it, plug it in and do two things. Okay, number one, when you're on the main screen of the terminal, which is, it might say, credit, debit, batch, void, settlement, whatever. When you're on that main screen, press the number 6. Just press the number 6. It's going to prompt you for a password. Just go through that and look at the different things you can do inside of that prompt. For instance, that's where you switch somebody from a dial connection to an internet connection, an IP connection, okay? You can change tip prompts. There's a lot of different things you can do in there. So you'll see different options, terminal, communication. So if you go to terminal, that's where you can change a lot of things in the terminal. If you go to communication, that's where you can change a lot of settings for, the phone number it's dialing out on and things like that. So when you get to the main screen, hit the number 6, put the password in, okay? Hit enter, and then just go through it. Just take some time and just go through and just don't change anything. Don't mess it up. Just look through it and see what's there. A lot of it is like self-explanatory. It's really, really simple to understand how to fix it. When I discovered that, again, saved me so much time once I discovered that and got to know it better. Number 2, when you're on the main screen, you can hit the down arrow. It's the purple button all the way to the left, and scroll down till you see Other Setup. Other Setup, okay? Hit Other Setup, and again, just go through there and see what's in there. Now, that's also where you can go for changing the header on the receipt. There's a printer setup there, so you can go to printer setup. There's a lot of things you can do in there, but if you go through the Other Setup, you'd be surprised at all the things you can do in there as well. A lot of the things kind of overlap, and you can do them in both places, but if you'll get to know those two, that's where you make these parameter changes I talked about at the beginning, so that you can easily switch a terminal over for a new merchant, okay? So get to know the basics. Thank you all very much for joining us today, and I hope that you have a wonderful day out in the field.